Good, happy Monday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to for this Monday evening, so let's begin. First up, church community in shock after shooting during wedding. Accused shooter scheduled for Tuesday arrangement. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
If my man was wearing this, I would be all over him. I love it. I would use this on myself.
Local and state police converged on the New England Pentecostal Ministries in Pelham about 10 a.m. on Saturday, minutes after a 911 call about a gunman inside.
Pelham Police to Pelham Fire. I need somebody to 954 Wood Street, the church, for a report of an active shooting.
Inside, chaos and horror. Angelo Castiglione was there for his son's wedding.
I saw the figure in black just run right up the stairs and face the bishop. Bishop turned around and he just boom, boom, tried and then turned around and aimed at my son and his future wife.
Bishop Stanley Choate shot in the chest. The bride, Claire McMullen, shot in the arm. The groom, Mark Castiglione, hit in the head with a gun. The elder Castiglione says wedding goers, including his other son, Gary, the best man, jumped into action and stopped the alleged shooter, 37-year-old Dale Holloway.
He grabbed the guy and they were wrestling up there and he had the gun and they come wrestling down. He rolling down the stairs and rolling right in front of me here. And then my son was on top of him. Had the gun out of the guy's hand.
The group held Holloway down until police arrived. Holloway was arrested and faces 5 charges, including attempted murder. Authorities confirmed that Holloway is the stepson of 60-year-old Luis Garcia, a minister here who was shot and killed earlier this month in Londonderry, allegedly by the groom's son, Brandon Castiglione, who's charged in Garcia's death. The investigation into what happened here is still very active. Authorities have not commented on a motive. As we said, the bride and groom were both released from the hospital yesterday. Bishop Choate, though, had several surgeries and remains hospitalized. People in this extended community hoping for the best. Church services are suspended here until October 20th, and the on-site daycare will open again on Thursday. We're live in Pelham. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Woman 79 killed by vehicle in parking lot of assisted living center, police say. Driver 80 cooperating with police, officials say. A 79-year-old woman was hit and killed by a vehicle in the parking lot of a Nashua assisted living center Monday, police said. The woman was killed in the parking lot of Bridges by EPOCH, a memory care assisted living center on Amherst Street, police said. The 80-year-old driver of the car is cooperating with the investigation, police said. The facility remained open during the investigation, but the front parking lot was blocked off. Anyone with information about the crash is asked to call Nashua Police at 603-594-3500. This is a developing story. It will be updated as more information comes into our newsroom. Myers won't seek reappointment as commissioner of DHHS. The head of the largest agency in New Hampshire's state government is heading to a private sector. Jeff Myers has been Commissioner of the Department of Health and Human Services since early 2016, when he was appointed by former Democratic Governor Maggie Hassan. In a letter to employees made public Monday, Myers said he will not seek reappointment when his term ends in January, and instead will pursue private sector opportunities. Myers previously served as a legal counsel to the State Senate, legal counsel to former Governor John Lynch, and Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the Health Department. Republican Governor Sununu on Monday called Myers a tireless advocate for vulnerable children and praised him for overseeing expansion of the state's Medicaid program and prioritizing improvements in its mental health system. Shaheen raised record $2.27 million in third quarter, has $4.3 million on head for re-election bid. Democratic incumbent senator sets record for third quarter of pre-election year. Presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard to participate in Tuesday debate after all. Hawaiian Congresswoman decides against boycott to protest rigging by DNC corporate media. Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard last week threatened to boycott Tuesday's debate in Ohio, but scraped the idea on Monday and said she will participate after all. Ted Cruz to host New Hampshire, Boston fundraisers for Senate candidate O'Brien on October 25th. Texas Senator helping Republican who chaired his 2016 presidential campaign in New Hampshire. Texas Senator Ted Cruz will visit New Hampshire and Boston on October 25th to help raise campaign funds for his longtime friend and supporter, former New Hampshire House Speaker Bill O'Brien. O'Brien is among 3 announced Republican candidates for the U.S. Senate seat held by Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen, who is seeking a third term next year. And now let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how the U.S. stock market closed for this Monday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Monday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red and went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red and went down. S&P 500 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the green and went up. Oil closed in the red and went down. U.S. 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the red and went down. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Stocks slip as doubts emerge about the China-U.S. trade agreement. Stocks closed slightly lower on Monday as new worries around a U.S.-China trade agreement emerges. Cop seen shooting, killing woman in her own home. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Well, now to the outrage and the search for answers after a white police officer shot and killed a black woman in her own home through her bedroom window. ABC's Marcus Moore has the story.
Auntiana Jefferson! Auntiana Jefferson! Overnight, protesters flooding the streets.
No justice! No peace!
We're tired of this injustice.
Anger rising following the shooting death of 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson, killed in her home by a Fort Worth police officer.
I'm calling about my neighbor.
The incident sparked by a phone call made by a concerned neighbor. In the newly released audio, Tatiana's neighbor tells police he noticed her front door was open around 2:24 in the morning. He called a police non-emergency line to ask for a welfare check.
I haven't seen anybody moving around. It's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time.
The neighbor unsure of whether Tatiana was home at the time.
You know if anyone is inside?
No, I'm not sure. Both of the calls are there.
The dispatcher immediately sent officers to her home. This body cam video shows the moment the encounter turns deadly. The responding officer is not heard identifying himself as he approaches Jefferson's bedroom window and begins shouting commands.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Within moments, he fires one deadly shot through the window.
This is less than a second. I had an expert slow it down. It's 0.6 seconds between the command and the shot. There was no time for them to perceive a threat from a weapon. There was no time for her to respond. It was reckless, deadly behavior.
According to her family, Tatiana was playing video games with her nephew when that shot was fired. Now the neighbor who made that welfare call is speaking out.
When I made that non-emergency call, I didn't say it was a burglary. I didn't say people are fighting across the street. I didn't say there's a drug. I didn't say anything that would make them think they needed to have a gun. All they needed to do was knock on the door and ring the doorbell.
The case now igniting a public outcry.
What the officer observed and why he did not announce police will be addressed as the investigation continues.
And the officer who fired that shot is expected to speak with investigators about the shooting later today. And family members say Jefferson was a pre-med graduate from Xavier University in Louisiana, and she had returned home to take care of her sick mother. Robin.
Beyond tragic. Beyond tragic. Marcus, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.